Trump has monster announcements today, massive announcements that we're going to talk about. We're also going to talk about some of the things that has been attributed to him that people are losing focus on. He's actually winning. I want you to listen to this list of things that we're going to be talking about today. All these things are benefiting Main Street. Not only that, he made 2 warnings. One to Tim Walz. Tim Walz is almost in a panic mode in Minnesota. Another to NATO. Wait till you hear these announcements. Phenomenal news. Now, we're also going to jump into what McGregor said, Douglas McGregor. You know, someone who supports the president, has a few different views than the president, but he did make 2 comments. One, again, about what the president's doing and how it could impact us as America. And then, we're going to hear probably the strangest and most bizarre thing that he just broke about the Bank of England and about Europe. They're going into prepare for damage mode because of a big announcement coming from the White House. Very, very strange. Very, very bizarre, strange story. Wait till you hear this. It's unbelievable. And then lastly, we're going to talk about a doctor who didn't go along with the protocol in 2020. And then we're going to talk about some rich billionaire named Bill who went along with it and made a lot of money off a sale he just did right after this was over. Wait till you hear these stories. Some of these are massive wins, others are pure evil. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here. We're humbled by your support each and every day. We thank you for our prayers for our son. He's going through a diagnosis and we are just so blessed to have you praying for him. We're working through it and he is doing great. If you want to follow his journey, follow our journey, check out the other channel, Colby Mac or Misty Mac. Both of our other channels are more vlog form. So check those out. You'll be able to find some stories and really some struggles we've been dealing with this new type 1 diabetes that he's been tied to. Even though it's not running in our family, even though we didn't get any of these, it just shows that there's so much stuff in the world that we don't understand. And you know what? That's why we lean on Christ. But go follow that journey over there. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, however you follow, whatever social other platforms you use. We're on there trying to share as much information as we can. Now let's jump into the stories today. First, let's talk about Trump. Let's talk about some things that are happening. And I know he's not listening to me, but he is doing some things that I have been pushing for. I want you to listen to just some of the things that's come out of his White House just in the last few moments. Trump threatens tariffs on 8 NATO allies over the Greenland purchase. This happened just last night and on in today. It says, on January 17th to 18th, Trump announced 10% tariffs starting February 1st, 2026 on goods from Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, UK, Netherlands, Finland, and it will escalate to 25%. Why this is big? It's because these places need America way more than America needs them. Again, have you seen where Denmark is, how small it is, and how it has no proximity to Greenland? It makes no sense. It actually makes more sense for America or Canada, so one of us to own Greenland. Well, Canada doesn't have the funds or the play. We do. We have the assets and the funds and the play, and also a fearless leader. But I love the fact that he's saying, you know what, I'm going to push hard on you, NATO. We're the ones supporting you. We're the ones supporting your war. We're the ones protecting you. And then you want to spit in our face and try to come at us as adversaries? I love this. It showed that Europe was putting troops in Denmark. Do they honestly want to bomb or shoot down anything on the military side for the U.S. Air Force or Army or Marines? That would be catastrophic for Europe. That would, hopefully, here's what I hope. I hope they actually sanction America and they kick us out of NATO. That will be the best thing ever. You know why they can't, though? Because about 60% of NATO's budget is America's money, is America's taxpayer, which I believe we should be out of NATO. So I hope this actually runs us right out of NATO because Europe is not our friend. They want to use us. It's kind of like, the YouTuber Doherty, where he goes in and slaps all these people, but he's got a real big security guard that will take care of him. It's almost like that. It's like Europe does stupid stuff, and they want us to be the security guard to take care of them. I'm done with that. So I love this, that Trump is actually calling them out because of this situation. Another thing I love that Trump is doing, Trump endorses let low for Louisiana Senate challenge versus Cassidy. Now, do I care about Cassidy? He's a joke. He's a doctor. He's a very deep state rhino. Here's what I love. This is what I've been pushing for. Trump coming out and supporting candidates that will help him move the narrative forward. He did the same thing in Alabama, someone he supported on the Freedom side, on the Freedom Caucus, and now they're coming to the Senate. Same way with this one in Louisiana. I love to see people like Bill Cassidy and all these other rhinos who kind of go against the president to feel pressure. What I hope Trump is doing is he's putting pressure on some of these people that are deep state rhinos, and he's targeting people like Thune, McConnell, Graham, Scott, all these people that you know have a little weight, but it's like, well, you know what? I might want to be careful because he may put a challenger against me. You know, he went after Marjorie Taylor Greene, which he should have because I believe she's a grifter. But I love the fact that Trump is putting pressure on the establishment. This is a bold move, and I want to see more of this. This is the Trump I want to see. The one that sticks his finger in NATO's face and says, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and you're not going to stop me because we're the ones funding you anyway. And then all these rhinos who say, well, we're working for the president. We want to see him do well, and actually do nothing for him. He's coming and saying, I'm going against you now. I love that. That is a boss move, and that's two monster announcements that I love that he's doing. Now, one more I want to hit on before I talk about some of the things that he's doing. Now, this comes from several sources, but Douglas McGregor was one of these. It says, late breaking, Trump puts 1,500 active duty troops on standby for potential deployment to Minnesota. Now, why is this a big deal? Here's why it's a big deal. These 1,500 active duty are part of the 11th Airborne, and they are active military. They're not just National Guard. They're not just the federal ICE. Both of those things are good. Now, I don't want to see military going against, the Americans. But these are people who are not standing up for Americans. Did you see what they did to Jake Lang? Now, I am no fan of Jake Lang. I don't even like how he calls himself a Christian conservative because he curses every other word. He's not as conservative as I like, but he's considered a conservative activist. And he goes into these places probably knowing he's going to cause problems. But ultimately what he does is he tries to go against the liberal ideology. They literally stripped him. There's a video you need to go check. He was caught basically by this mob. They ripped his pants off, stabbed him, made him unconscious, and finally somebody got him in a car and I guess got him help. These people are dangerous, and the police are allowing it to happen. Tim Walz, they said, is going berserk because he don't know what to do, and Trump's fisting to literally step on him like a little ant because he's going to end up deploying people to Minnesota to handle the stuff that Frey and Walz should handle on their own. If you're part of these liberal states and these liberal cities, why do you keep allowing these people to win these elections? And I know you're like, well, we're just one vote. That is. But if I was you, either move out of these areas or you have got to get proactive. If you live in California, or Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, if you live in these big areas, Chicago, Illinois, either you move or you get on the streets protesting this liberal ideology because it is harming America and it's causing the biggest threat to our homeland. I love what Douglas McGregor said here. He said, what we don't realize is this is the biggest risk to America is that our own people that are brainwashed and coerced are going to come after their own homeland that's made them free. That is true. Scary. Very scary. A few more things I want to talk about. This is from Eric Doherty, and again, this is what Trump has been pushing for to get rid of the filibuster and to do the SAVE Act or the Voters ID Act. It says this. It says, if we saw the SAVE Act go in and we saw that we could fix, listen to this, voter ID. It's an 80% issue. People want 80% issue of fixing voter ID. It said that, listen, this is where you get real serious, and this is why I believe he's going against people like Bill Cassidy. Trump is, and people that want to go against him. I hope he goes against Rand Paul. I hope he goes against Mitch McConnell. I hope he goes against all those, but I digress. He says this. He says, if we would do that, he said, the Republicans could stand to win over 85 to 90% of all America. It said they may not win Illinois, they may not win New York, and they may not win California. He said, but if we pass a Voters Act where everybody has a voter ID, he said it would literally cause for about 85% of the electorate to go to Trump or to go to the Republicans. He said because there would be no farcity, there would be no problems, and there would be honest integrity. It's amazing how we want ID to buy Sudafed. We want IDs to buy tobacco. We want IDs to drive a car. We want IDs to stay in a hotel. We want IDs to do all that. but no IDs to vote because it benefits the deep state when bad people are voting. So I love the fact that that story is coming out and Trump is hounding on it, talking about this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is what's causing for America to falter. I love the fact he's putting pressure on Senate because if they would do what they say, if they would do like Vance and Trump would say, is cut the filibuster out, things would actually get done because you have enough senators. Even taking people like the Murkowskis and Collins out, there's still enough senators to pass some of these laws that's needed. Republicans, grow a backbone and actually do something for your country. This is from Grant Cardone, and I'm not, again, not the biggest Grant Cardone fan, but I want you to listen to what has happened under Trump. And he said, I'm just telling you, he's a Trump supporter, but he said, this is the numbers, this is the stats from America. Trump has gotten rid of inflation. Fake media continues to promote inflation, but it's gone. Lower than Fed's arbitrary rate of 3%, which it is. It's like 2.4, I think, right now. So it's under what the Fed wanted. Eggs, prices are down 13 to 20%. Gasoline is down. Breakfast cereals, 19% down, which you shouldn't be buying breakfast cereals, by the way, but it's down 19%. Dairy products, milk, butter, and cheese are down. Used cars, down from the pandemic. Computers, seriously deflated, cost is less than ever before. Toys, down 9% pre-pandemic. Airfares, lower everywhere. Every airfare in America is lower under Trump's administration. Dishes and flatware, 5 to 6% lower. Asking home prices are down about 10%. They say it could drop 20 to 30% in the next year. Rents are down nationwide, down by 30%. Mortgage rates are down 20% because of some of the inflation and interest rates going down. He said, we don't want to talk about these things because our narratives have always been on all this other junk. And all the while, Trump has gotten great wins, massive wins, and no one wants to give him credit for. Massive wins. Here's another just crazy story. Are we getting to 51st state? We talked about Greenland. We talked about Venezuela. Listen to this. Massive amounts of Alberta is starting to form huge lines to sign a petition to succeed from Canada. It is potentially wanting to be the 51st state after gaining independence. They said they want independence from Canada, but they want America to take them in as the 51st state. You have parts of Canada, the most conservative part of Canada, wanting to be a part of America. What a crazy benefit. And you know what, again, what we're talking about, it shows that the world is seeing how good Trump is doing. They can dog it out, they can act like it's not there. Europe can go crazy and get mad at Trump, but he's actually winning for his people. Now, here's the thing. We're not winning the media war. We're not even winning the woke right side. We need to fix a lot of stuff in the narrative. But Trump has got great wins here, and we need to look for those to help us gain more traction. Senate, Congress. If they don't start doing some things, though, we're going to lose midterm, and all this is going to be for naught. Actually, Chuck Schumer came out and stated that he would reverse every little bit of savings that we have done, that the Republicans have passed through of DOGE. He says we will put it back in. So all the fraud, waste, and abuse that we are seeing, they want to keep on doing it. Even Republicans want to keep on doing it to a point. To be honest with you, it's sad. It's so sad that our tax dollars are getting wasted. But the Democrats have already said they want to arrest people who are causing problems. They want to arrest ICE, and they want to put all the spending back in that we've found for waste, fraud, and abuse. Sadly, we've not taken enough out, and they're wanting to put the others back. It came out, Dr. Ice stated that we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg when it comes to fraud, when it comes to Medicare and to expenditures with welfare states, even in Minnesota. He said the magnitude of fraud is going to be approximately $4 billion just in hospice and healthcare. He said we don't even understand. There could be hundreds of billions, if not trillions, of waste in the welfare states, especially in these liberal cities and liberal states. He said sadly, no one's doing anything about it. Trump is trying to, but he needs Congress's help. Question is Congress going to help? Now, leaving that, this is one of those stories that's just extremely bizarre. But the reason I want to bring it up is because it's being shared by a reliable source, and the question is, what's supposed to break this week? Listen to this. This is from Douglas McGregor again. It says, breaking, Bank of England told to prepare for a full market crash if the United States announces alien life. And this may be the most bizarre story that you're here today. Helen McCall, who served as the senior analyst in financial securities in the UK Central Bank, has sounded the alarm, saying she thinks, and has written in Andrew Bailey, which is the bank's governor, urging him to organize contingency plans for a possibility that the White House may confirm a major announcement that we're not ready for, because it's going to prove that we are not alone in the universe. Now, do I believe that there's alien life? I really don't. I'm sorry, I really don't believe this. But why is all of a sudden this story coming out? Here's what I want to always pay attention to. Anytime media narratives, focuses, propaganda, things coming our way, I believe they're like puppeteers. They want your eyes focused here. They want it focused right here. And all the while, over here is what you're not looking at. So, do I believe that Trump is going to talk about alien life or UFOs? I don't know. I don't believe there's UFOs or alien life. But if it's to disregard to something else that's going to get done, or to take the focus off something else, it could be very well something they mention. But the most bizarre thing is, if that takes place, they said that Europe's market will crash. Now, that's weird, especially after the fact of Trump pressing these buttons to NATO and the threats from NATO allies to harm America. Could Trump bring up alien life and talk about the dangers of alien life, or the fact that we're not alone in the universe to destroy Europe's economy, where then we have to be the one to pretty much they have to let us buy Greenland and have Greenland with no problem? It's just a bizarre story. And again, it'd be different if it was shared by some kind of weird, Illuminati account. It's not. It's shared by Douglas McGregor, and it was shared by it was shared by a big breaking news source on Twitter. Very bizarre. Not the fact of the alien life, which I believe is false, but the propaganda around it and the fact that it could shut down all the markets in Europe, and they're trying to build contingency plans because they're scared the central bank is telling them that the market would crash with this White House announcement. Very peculiar. Pay attention to this story. I think it's going to grow, and I'm anxious to see what comes out this week. Now, last story I want to mention, dealing with 2020, dealing with this. If y'all remember Dr. Bowden, Mary Tyler Bowden, she's become very popular in circles dealing with keeping government health care separated. But I want you to listen to what she says, and this should, again, blow your mind. She said, if I would have done this to my 6,000 patients, I would have been paid by the biggest players and by the companies, pharma, over $35,523,000. The hospitals that gave you this, and all the clinics that gave you this, and they quote-unquote said it's for free, they collected up to $5,900 per one. So think about the millions of people that got that. And it said, if I'd have done that, I'd have been $35 million richer just in my own clinic. So she said, think about all the hospitals, the nursing homes, the hospice care, the home healths, then the pharmaceuticals, the pharmacies, the offices, the CVS, the Walgreens. She said, just think about that for a second. How much money we gave to this. Now, you remember the billionaire doctor I talked about yesterday, the oncologist? He came out and stated that this, again, nobody's talked about it, that this hurt the one cell that keeps cancer from invading our body. There's a cell, and you can go back and look at his whole breakdown of it. He said there's several cells, but there's one cell that just does phenomenal work of regeneration to stay away from cancer and help cancer stay away from our bodies and growing. He said this, that 2020, causes that one cell to drop, and allows for your immunity to drop, and allows for the attack on your system to happen. That's a big deal. I love the fact that Dr. Bowden is bringing that to attention. I believe more doctors should be doing that, because I told my wife this the other day, I'd rather find doctors who believe in non-insurance, straight, hey, pay me, cost plus, pharmacies, cost plus, and home hospitals and home health, all those situations with healthcare, cost plus. Meaning you don't take insurance, I just pay you a cash dollar amount, and we go about our business. I believe you had more honest doctors. Here's another reason why it's very dangerous. Let's talk about our friend Bill Gates. This just came out, again, we talked about him several times dealing with all this stuff. We talked about all the fraud, we talked about all the dangers of 2020. But listen to this. This just broke, and actually RFK shared this. It says Bill Gates had a foresight, for some reason just had major knowledge, to buy 1 million shares of BioNTech, a stock that before 2020 had no value, but it was the one that a big company bought to help them push mRNA. The same week, Bill Gates, who oversaw the Event 201, which is a simulation of what took place in 2020, bought 1.1 billion shares in BioNTech. That later became the Pfizer. They bought it. The pharma company bought it. Listen, he then sold it and sold the stock 2 years later, after all this was over, after all this was done and everybody kind of woke up to the fact, for $242 million worth of profit. A week after that, he announced that it probably didn't work as good as it should, but it was after he sold. That's what you call the ultimate pump and dump scheme in the deep state. So he bought tech that no one knew about, that all of a sudden a big pharma company bought, that doctors, that the government pushed money up to $5,900 per patient, per person who got the you-know-what, for them to get filthy rich, for him to get filthy rich, and several other big players get filthy rich. And then all of a sudden, we realized it was actually causing us to be more sick. That is evil. And if anything, if Trump really wanted to be the most popular president and the biggest winner and most successful person in history when it came to America, he would start arresting all these people, perp walk him, find a good DOJ that's willing to do the hard things and win. That's how he could do it, by winning and arresting these people for this evil they caused. Or give us our money back. You don't want to arrest them? Make all our hundreds of billions of dollars that's been stolen come back to us. And if they don't, then put them in prison. That's what needs to happen. Elon Musk said it best. He said, politicians are just puppets. He said they're controlled by somebody. The question is, can you find out who they're controlled by? He said, look, I tried to fix it, but he said, I can't fix it. He said, sadly, no one else can. But pressure and wisdom and common sense and people voting with real clarity, he said, would fix the problem, because the masses can control it. And that's the population of America and the conservative movement. Guys, let me know your thoughts on today's video. God bless.